and South Africa have a unique relationship.
Ghana is one of those countries that we consider as a sister country.
A Pan-African approach to doing business.
Ghana is the latest boom.
We are looking for more.
It is to our benefit. It will make our people better.
Ghana and South Africa have had very strong ties, not only since South Africa returned to a participatory democracy, with all of its citizens playing an important role in that process, but even with those who were at the forefront of the South African liberation movement before this particular achievement was finally obtained.
Ghana and South Africa have a unique relationship because Ghana was the first country south of the Sahara to become independent from colonial domination, and South Africa was the last to become independent from colonial domination. Once Ghana became independent, our first president declared that the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. And so for Ghana, we started the process, and as other African countries got independent, they joined us in the liberation struggle until finally South Africa was liberated.
Ghana knew that at some point South Africa will be free. They trained our people in different areas of education, but also in the military area, so that we could confront apartheid and defeat apartheid. So post-apartheid era, we have sound diplomatic relations. Ghana is one of those countries that we consider as a sister country.
Recognizing that South Africa currently is acknowledged as the powerhouse on the continent, our goal again was to identify like-minded strategic partners in investment from South Africa who are interested in a Pan-African approach to doing business. Clearly there's a very long political history as well as a commercial history between Ghana and South Africa, and it's been a real delight and a pleasure to engage with South African business professionals who already recognize the opportunity in accessing the West African sub-region with Ghana as the first point of contact.
The government has been very supportive. I think more critical is the engagement, that yes, if there are issues that we have with certain policies and frameworks, it's certainly not a closed door, and we have found it to be quite engaging. I think it does encourage an investment opportunity, and obviously does encourage a lot of partnerships, particularly with private enterprises.
The numbers of people going to visit South Africa today from Ghana has skyrocketed. The number of companies coming to invest in Ghana is huge. So I think Ghanaians also are in South Africa. There was a time when the trade balance was skewed in the favor of South Africa, but I must say today I'm very happy to tell you that, to report that we are balancing that trade imbalance, especially because of the discovery of oil and gas.
Ghana is a good place to do business. We have a strong and stable democracy. We have peace and security. We have a good economic environment. We have a good rate of return on investment. Businessmen investing in Ghana will be our best ambassadors. They can give a testimony about the rate of return on investment It's a good rate of return, and I'm sure that other South African businessmen will be attracted to come.
No, I think if you look at West Africa as a whole, certainly Ghana is the latest boom in terms of growth in the region. I think it plays quite a pivotal role in the whole of West Africa. I certainly would encourage, especially with the formation, for instance, of the GIPC, which is really looking at building investment and inviting investment into the country. It certainly is a good investment to go into.
We present investment incentives, including various customs exemptions, various corporate tax waivers, repatriation of funds without any hindrance, looking at certain types of incentives that are specific to a location. But I think most importantly, the fact that because we're dealing with strategic investors, they have an opportunity to speak with us one-on-one about very significant financial inputs that they would like to make. Many South African companies will always ask, is there a credible Ghanaian company that I can look at or talk to? We're very proud of the work that we've been able to do in beginning to develop a database of Ghanaian companies that can engage with their South African business partners.
We need PPP also in agriculture, in agribusiness, in housing. Ghana has 1 million housing deficit that we need, and so we need to inject a lot of private sector influence in the construction of housing. If anybody wants to come and invest in the power industry, we supply power to Burkina Faso in Ghana, we supply power to La Côte d'Ivoire, we supply power to Benin, we supply power to Mali.
There is a growing middle class in Ghana. There certainly is a lot more disposable income, and we've certainly seen that by way of the new malls that have been opened, new malls that are under construction, a tremendous amount of construction, both residential housing and office space, and as I mentioned earlier, malls which are accommodating the major retailers that have come into Ghana in the last couple of years.
President Zuma is a good friend. I have a good relationship with him, and the people of Ghana, respect President Zuma, and we're happy that we're having a state visit. His visit comes after a visit by our own president, the late Professor John Evan Mills, paid a state visit to South Africa, and when he went, he invited President Zuma on a return visit. Unfortunately, President Jonathan Mills passed away, and so that visit couldn't take place. And so it's only now that we are able to host the return visit of President Zuma. And so we're waiting anxiously to receive him. And we hope that the return visit will cement even closer the relationship between our two countries.
Because of the increased interaction between Ghana and South Africa, those 9 tariff barriers will be removed. That is why President Zuma is coming here to engage together with his ministers, with President Mahama and his ministers.
We have a very strong relationship through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with the South African Embassy here in Ghana. And so there's been a very deliberate focus at matching Ghanaian companies to South African companies so that they have an opportunity to overcome some of the challenges that go with stepping into a new terrain. If an investor from South Africa is wondering how they can access land or utilities or what the regulatory requirements are, in going through the normal registration process to begin business in Ghana, they can always look to the Investment Promotion Center to provide that.
I think what Ghana and South Africa can do is to come together to show the rest of the continent that integration is possible, and that we should create a free trade zone in Africa We should harmonize our tariffs. We should allow people, goods, and services to move freely across the continent. It is to our benefit. It will make our people better. If our people are working for a continent of nearly 800 million people, it's better than working for 25 million people like in Ghana. And so we need to share our economies of scale. We need to share power. If you have more power, share it with your neighbors. If you have more of something, let investment flow in Africa. And that's the only way that we can make life better for our people.